Okay, so it's already set. So let's get started. So hi again. Hi everyone. So today I would like to teach you the fourth chapters, which is the marketing analysis of agricultural products. So I hope you have better understanding in terms of how we're gonna analyze or what point that we need to analyze in order to have the marketing information for agricultural products. So here we go. So what we'll include for this chapter, the first thing I would like to talk is about MIS or Marketing Information System. So you might hear these words a lot like MIS, but actually what is this in agricultural products marketing? So this is the things that you must know. And then I will go over for the analysis of structures and behaviors of agricultural products market. So we have many types of the structures and also the behaviors and also the market. So you will know all of that today. And the next thing is the measurement and forecast the market's demand. So it's very important because you need to be able to measure and also to predict what will happen for your agricultural products. And finally, I will explain in terms of environment analysis. So we have SWOT analysis. So we're going to talk about that in terms of environmental analysis. So this in this case is going to be comprehensive of agricultural products marketing in terms of analysis. The first one, so the first main topic is about the marketing information system or MIS of agricultural products. So here are the subtopics that we will include. The first one is definition and importance of marketing information. And what is actually the component of MIS and what is the process that you need to understand and need to know when you're doing agricultural market research. So what is actually MIS? So MIS is actually the system that is used for link IT or information technology, and then link to communications during the person, like between the person in the company, or even the person outside the company. And also, we need to link the human in both human resource in the company and also the other side, like outside of the company, and also the process. So we use MIS for being a supporting and facilitating for obtain information. So you might gain some information to run your marketing activities. So MIS is actually very important because it can use to link all parts together and you're going to gain something that is going to be useful for your business. So what is actually MIS for? So MIS is used for monitor any changes. For example, sometimes the data from MIS is going to let you know what price is changed or what is the pattern of the price that is changed and also the demands of your products or sometimes it's about the demands of your competitors too. So you know who gonna fight with and then you know how to fight with them. Then this might be the information in terms of trends. So you can search some information and you collect some information in order to know what is the trend that is up to date right now. And then MIS gonna provide you the precise, like very uh, correct, very useful data, and also completed and up-to-date information. So you need to have very fresh, very new information in order to follow with the trend, with the consumer needs. And then MIS also provide you information in terms of what the consumer need, when the consumer need, where the consumer can obtain the products, and how many or how much that they need. And also who will be the competitors or who are currently your competitors. And also what is the channel that you need to use. So because sometimes the channel might change during the time. For example, in the past, you might not see the online purchase or the delivery purchase or delivery service is very popular. So MIS gonna let you know the trend and what it will be for the next time. And then MIS also provide you the decision making, how they decide to buy the products or what factors that they concern before they make the purchase. And also MIS also sorry MIS also used to have to create the general plan for your business, and also maybe the information that used for strategic planning. Like you need to have something special, so you obtain some information, then you create some strategies to prove or to use for target the consumer. So this is about MIS. And then not just only the MIS provide you some information. Actually, it's just linked to the key performance of the business, because we can't deny the business right now is very competitive. You fight a lot customer. No, actually you fight a lot with the company. You keep fighting with many companies that just are new on the market. And for now, the power on your hands, on the business hands, like the seller hand is not quite much like you have in the past. For now, consumer have more choice, have more power. So that is the reason why MIS gonna be used for finding something or just sending some message to the chief executive officer or the person who are the top level. So what they need to have enough complete, accurate, and up-to-date data for making any decision. So if you have the complete and accurate data, you can use some strategies, you can use some direction that's linked or just focus for the target group. So if you meet with the real target group or actual target group, that's good for your business. And it's also used for having the suitable strategic planning and marketing action. So it's actually the CEO job to create the strategies and also the action plan. So if you have a good result from MIS, you can plan it carefully and plan it directly and correctly. And then MIS also used to manage the marketing activities, because it can link to the marketing policy, vision, and mission. Like you have a company, then you have some information what will be happen for next 10 years. So you can just revise or just create the new vision or mission for your company. For example, for School of Industry, we think we should focus for the internationalization. So we set the missions to be the well-known school for in terms of agro industry around the world. And vision is we trying to contribute good things to the society, like this one. So see, if you have enough information, if you have complete and accurate information, it can help you to plan or to create something to your company. And then finally, MIS is also responsible for frequent change situation. For now, everything changes a lot and fast. If you have current information, if you have very new information, or if you have current news from any sources, so you can know what you're gonna do with the situation that just happened, like for COVID-19. Many of you might not know that during COVID-19, some food product is very popular. Of course, we don't need to contact. So the food product like chilled food or frozen food is very high on the sales. And also the fruit or vegetable that is used for preventing or boost your immunity is going to be popular. So if you know this information, you can plan. I would say, actually, if you know this information before or just beginning of the COVID-19, you can predict what will happen and how bad it's going to be. If you know something like that, you have plan to do. Like for now, the demands for some vaccines or the demands for some herbs is very high. So this is the way that you need to think how it is important for having the marketing information system, or MIS. So here are the big pictures of the MIS. So you can see three parts. So the first part is actually the core, one of the two major components for MIS, which is we need to have the human. So human resource for MIS is actually the person who gonna do some process in terms of analysis, planning, implement, organize, and control. So most of the people who get involved for this part is actually marketing managers, or the person who are on the top level. So again, this is the first part of the MIS, of the MIS. So this part need to have some human resource to run, to analyze, to plan, to implement, organize, and control. And then it's linked to the second major component, which is the marketing information system. So you will see the four subunits. Like for this one, is going to be the yellow, light yellow color. So what you're going to have, you're going to have internal database. You're going to have information analysis, marketing research, and also marketing intelligence. Then you need to combine all sorts together, combine the information from four units here. That is going to be interchange, or just transfer information from one point to another point. So you can see the direction on the picture, which is all direction. So after you have this information, you're going to distribute the information back to the marketing manager, or the top officers. Then if they analyze, they plan, they implement, organize, and control, they will send the data back to you again, what they want to have. So this is like the cycle that you should understand the process of MIS. So MIS, some of you might think it's just a program. No, it's actually not computer program. It's about a system to obtain the information that you want to have, or obtain the useful information for having some strategies for running the business. And the last part is actually the third part, marketing environment. So why we need to concern about marketing environment? Because they are actually outside of the company, but this is very important if you know them well. Like you need to know who is your target market. What is the marketing channel that you should use? Who are the competitors? How about the public policies or public event that you can conduct? Or how about the force from macro environment? So all things together can link directly to marketing intelligence and marketing research. For example, if you want to have a fruit company, so you might need to think who is the target market, what is the marketing channel that I need to use, and who are the competitors. So in this case, you might study the outside factors, like the factor that outside of your company, and then you collect information. And later on, you just send the information to the marketing managers, then they analyze, they plan, they implement, organize, and control. So it's like the cycle. Again, there are two major components for MIS. The first one is the human resource. So if you remember the pictures that we just talked, so the marketing manager and actually the CEO, the chief executive officer, gonna take care of this part, human resource. And they have the job to analyze, interpret, plan, and operate the business. And then we also have the process, which is the lower box. So the process of developing needed information. So they have some component on the process, which is First one, again, internal database. Second one, information analysis. Third one, marketing research. And the last one, marketing intelligence. So this one is actually called, or we call that in terms of the process. So again, we have major component, which is human resource, the first box, and we have the process of marketing information system, or you can call it developing needed information, which is the process. So we have two major part, and the second major part, which is developing needed information, have four sub-units. So the four subunit, including first, internal record system. So in this case, this unit, you need to have, because you need to collect the sales information of your company, and also information in terms of the purchase and order from the customer. And also you need to collect the costs, all costs that just happen on your business, inventory, debt, and the company database. Database in terms of the product that you produce, that you sell, the feedback from the customer, the complaint, and the compliment. So everything here is internal record system. If you have very good internal record system, it means you have enough information, enough data to think and also use for running the business. Normally, internal record system, you can analyze by SWOT analysis, which is strength. You need to know yourself, what you do best. Weakness, you need to know yourself, what you do worst. And also, what is the point that you need to improve, like that? Opportunity, what is a chance on the market that you can do? And threat, what is the thing that you should avoid? So internal record system can include SWOT analysis. That's going to be useful for your business. Second subunit is actually marketing intelligence system, or the source of information. So it's like if you ever watch the movies or series, we have intelligence service or intelligence, or you might hear this word CIA. So intelligence system is the system that collect information from both open sources and also secret sources. So what does it mean? Open source is like you have some information from newspaper, from the website, from the person who knows something more. Or secret source, like you might have some information from the competitors. You might pay and then just have some information from inside, like that one. But I would say secret sources is not easy. Normally, you might not have a good chance to have that one if they did not leak it. Then, why we need to have this system? Because marketing intelligence system is used for helping you to make any decisions according to the data. And the third subunit is actually the marketing research system. So marketing research system is the system that's composed of the marketing research team. So your team gonna be a group of people who study the market situation, what will happen for this type of agricultural product on the market. For example, if you think about the healthy, like organic fruit or vegetable, so market situation is popular. So you might concern and study something more in order to prove that what type of fruit or vegetable that's going to be good for the market in the future. Or you might collect some information in terms of opportunities for the market. Collect information in terms of the consumer behavior, forecast, and also the advertising efficiency. So how well that you use some advertisement and the consumer or the company have some benefits from that one. So this is how marketing research system work. And the last subunit is marketing decision support system. So sounds is not quite linked. It's actually the decision. It's actually the support system. for making decision, but actually this one is the system that storage and analyze the market situation and environment. So it's like this is the system that you use some information from the third one. Then you use the computer program to predict. Like you enter some parameters, like for example, what is the economics trend today, like this year, and what we should predict for next year. Then you enter some parameters to the computer program, and then the program will predict it, like model it. So see what will happen. So if you want to just increase the price, what will affect to the sales, like this one. So in conclusions again, marketing decisions supporting system is actually the subunit of the process. So this one is used for seeing the result when you enter some parameters on the program, then you model it. So this is all for subunit in the process of marketing information system. Then what we're gonna do when we need to do agricultural marketing research? So agricultural marketing research is actually the process of collect, analyze, and interpret the data related to agricultural products. So in this case, it might be anything like the sales, the qualities, the trends, and then you make the conclusion and find some solution. And also you prove some assumption in order to make the decisions on your interesting or your current studying topics. Like for example, if you want to do agricultural market research on healthy food like this one, so you might need to collect information and analyze and interpret. Finally, the marketer team need to be able to conclude what is the trend or what is the way that we should go for the healthy food, and what is the solution for this type of market. And if you have assumption like the healthy food going to be popular, so we can prove that assumption or not. And finally, if you have gained a lot of information here, you can make the decision like you should run the business on the healthy food or not, like this way. Then why agricultural market important to your business? Because agricultural marketing research can provide you the information of production in order to meet the market demands. Like I just said, we talk about the healthy, or maybe the organic food, organic fruit and vegetable. So if you study and have the answer from the research, which is the trend of organic going to be increased, but the consumer also concerns about the price. So you might do some study to balance between the perception and also the cost. Like this way, people need to eat safely. So organic fruit and vegetable is the answer, but the price might be high. So you might need to reduce the cost of production or just use the other technique to change their perception, which is organic product, even it's very expensive, but it's good for your health and it's worth enough to pay, like this one. Also, agricultural marketing research is used for increase the sales efficiency. How? If you know what is going to be famous, so you can target is very clear, then your sales going to be increased. We also use some information to reduce the cost as well. Because if you know the factors, if you know the results of your study topics, you should know what part that's take some cost, like, or how you gonna reduce the cost in the whole process. And then we have initiated new idea and improve the marketing objective and policy. So I have this one too. When I did some study, I found that sometimes we can have a new idea from marketing research. So between we talk to the target consumers, or sometimes they just give our new idea what we should do. So this is very good too. Then agricultural marketing research is also used for having the worker engagement, because if you have the systematic agricultural marketing research, it means the worker can see that you work with a good system. Then they want to join, they want to participate, and then want to contribute their part to your business. But if it's not work well, like your agricultural marketing research is just trial and error, did not have a good plan, so they might feel like, I don't want to take the risk for this type of company. So if you have a good agricultural marketing research, you can have the worker engagement as well. Next one, what is the point that you need to think or you need to concern for having an agricultural marketing research? The first one is about consumer or customer problem. So problem in this case is about who are your target consumers, what they're making the decision, what is the reason why they buy your product, what are their attitude to your product. So like in this case, you need to understand them very well. Or in terms of motivation problem, so what they really want, or what is the motivation that affects to their purchase. For example, for organic products, organic fruit and vegetable, the motivation is actually not just the product. It's actually they have something about their mind, like they need to have a safe life, they need to have longer life, so they reduce to consume the fruit or vegetable that might contaminate with the chemicals. And actually their motivation is not just having a good food, having a clean food, but they need to stay longer. So that is the real motivation, right? So if you can do the research like this, it's pretty sure that you're gonna hit on their mind, like what they really want. Then you might think to have the market problem as well. So think about market problem. We're gonna think about in terms of the customer need. What is actually your customer or people need? Because it's gonna link to the strategic planning and satisfactory. So it's like you know what is actually people need to do, need to have, and then you use those information from the market to plan and do some strategies to focus or to just have some intention to the target market. Then we also have sales and channel concern, which is how you gonna evaluate the market. So you can use some technique or not to evaluate the market values, the market share, like this one. And last one, the product concern. So in this case, you're gonna concern about the characteristic like look, smell, taste, and flavor of the products. And also the packaging, like what you need to present to them. Especially for agricultural products that you need to, sometimes you need to present the environment friendly. So you might need to create what is the color that attractive to the customer and make them feel like this is good for the earth. So you might use the earth tone, you might use the craft paper like this one. And also the utilities. Utilities I mentioned on the first chapters. like time utility, place utilities, and also the ownership utilities like that, and also the price. So this is the things that you need to concern in terms of agricultural marketing research. Again, when you want to do marketing research, especially for agricultural products, they have 5 things that you really need to concern, including the consumers, motivation, market, sales and channels that you need to distribute, and also the product. Not just 5 things that we just finished, they also have some other 4 points that you also need to think, which is advertising. So this is interesting because advertising sometimes, especially for agricultural products, might not be quite effective because the person who gonna receive the message might not be the same person who watch or just have the advertisement. What does this mean? Think about who gonna buy the fertilizer. So it's actually the farmer. So what you need to do, you might need to check the advertising channel that is fit for them. So I would say I might ask them to do some campaign or some advertisement on the time that they might see the most. So for farmer and grower, I think the best time should be around 6 to 7 p.m. Of course, they just come back from the farm and then have some dinner. So you might create some ads during the news times or maybe before the drama started, like that one, because you know who gonna be the person who take a look. And also, I also need to concern about the number of receivers. So how many people gonna see the message, gonna listen to the message, how they know or how they remember on your products, and also the message that you send is effective enough that they accept or not. So this is also advertising problem, and also the strategy that you need to apply for having a perception too. So you might use some strategy, for example, for agricultural products, because it's about agricultural things. So you might use some well-known farmers, or you might need to use some strategies like I can send. No. Actually, it's about advertising. So you might use some normal people, but then you just create something that's make them have a better picture. For example, it's like you ask some people who just fail in doing the agricultural business, and then they try them the best to improve themselves, and for now they are okay. So you might use these strategies to encourage the farmers to have development on the agricultural business. Then we also have the environment concern. Let me check. So we also need to think about environmental problem as well, because even it's not control, but if you know something in advance, it's going to be good. Of course, you can know what is going to happen, or you need to have the backup plan to deal with the uncontrolled situation. For example, what will happen after COVID-19? So that is the thing that you need to concern too. In terms of agricultural products, so because many people don't want to touch the products because they think it's gonna be contaminated with COVID-19. So you might have the policies like, okay, our farm, the person who's gonna harvest gonna wear the mask, and after harvest, we're gonna clean with the chlorine water and then pack so no one can touch the product anymore, like this one. So the environment factor also need to link to the marketing research too. So then You also need to concern about the competitors, because the competitors is the person who you fight with directly. So they might have new idea and launch to the product. So is this your job to monitor what they just show, or what is the news that they're going to produce, or what is the policies that will be announced, and also what is the distribution channels that they use. So if you know the best distribution channel, you can have a better competitiveness from to the competitors. And also the price. So your competitors use the price strategies like reduce the cost, but also reduce the quality. So your job is, okay, I might not reduce the cost, but I can send the message more. Our product might be expensive, but is this good quality, like this one? Last one is also about the customer or consumer concern. So you must think about the change of the behaviors of the people at this time, because for now it's changing very fast. See, we're gonna think the online platform, the online application, and online like food delivery gonna be very famous. So for my question is actually what will happen for the next era or for the next period. That is the challenging thing, right? So this is about consumers' concern. So before we move to the next page, I think it is good that you need to realize about the information quality. I would say not all information is good, not all information is correct or will be used. So in order to have the correct information, you need to have to think about accuracy, like how is accurate. From the marketing research that you have lots of data and how the data is accurate, or this is the new things or not, or is this sufficient or you need to have more data or not, or how it's going to be available, or how it's linked to the market research. So the quality of information is the key part for making the decision as well. So here are all 8 steps for conducting a marketing research. The first thing that you need to do is research problem identification. So keep asking yourself, what is the real problem? What is actually the problem that you fight with or you just want to solve? For example, if you have the problem on transportation and then your strawberry look quite bad because it's just bruised or it's just have some wound, some defects on the skin. So I might think, oh, it might be because of the the way to pack and also the transportation time. So I think, oh, this is the problem. This is research problem identification. And then you need to set the objective of the study by setting what is the aim of the study, what is the scope, or what is the frame of the study. You will study just for exporter or importer, or what is the age group of the customer, and why, what is the reason why you want to set this objective. So it's all linked together to be objective study. And then what is your hypothesis? So hypothesis is actually what it will be, or what is the expectation from this research. So I would say expected result should be linked with the possible reason. So if you expect to have something, so make sure that you have some reason to support that hypothesis, like this way. Then research design. So you need to have a good research plan, which cover all point that you need to study, not just missing some part. And then you need to think about the system of the monitoring or system for collecting the data. What is the tools that you use for collecting the data? and what is the error that will be happen. So this is the research design. The fifth one is actually designs of data collection and methods and form. So it's come to this question: what is the source of data that you need to obtain or to get? So is this the first or primary data that you ask directly from the consumers, or the secondary data that you just collect from the other sources? And also the type of the data that you will collect. Is it going to be quantitative or qualitative, or both of them? And then sample designs and also data collection. So I would say, it is impossible that you can do the research with the whole consumers around the world. But normally what they did, they just set and just trying to see the representative for the data. Like for my research, I might use just 100 people for test the food, and then I can make the conclusion because I have the questionnaire which have 9-point difference, and then they just select it like this way. So the key point for sample design and data collection is you need to infer what you find to be the whole population data. So like you study the small group, and then it would be good enough to represent the whole population. So this is how we need to concern and to decide how many people you need to study. And number 7. So number 7 is actually the analysis and interpretation. So you should have a systematic analysis. For example, for qualitative data that I ever did, I asked, I contact the focus group, and I asked my friend, actually my colleague, to transfer the data to the words, like the key point, and then I asked them to recheck again and again. Then after that, they are need to be in the group, like this words can count for this big picture, and if it's not count, what is different, like this way. So we have analysis and interpretation, and also you need to have some statistics to prove that is different or not, or significant difference or not. And finally, you need to prepare for the research report in both executive summary that you need to submit to the CEO, or you need to write the full report, which include the objective, the problem, the hypothesis, the result, and discussion. So full report, normally you're going to send to your managers. But executive summary, sometimes it's just the brief concept, brief findings, and you just send to the CEO, like that one. So we just finished the first main part, which is MIS. And the second main part is actually the analysis of structures and behavior of agricultural products market. So we're going to talk 2 topics here, which is analysis of the structures and analysis of the behaviors for agricultural products market. So before we go into the analysis of the structure, you need to understand the criteria for analyzing them. So because the criteria might affect to decision making on the price, quantity, and quantity of the products. So there are 3 criteria that is used for analyzing the structures. First one, number of production units and their distribution. So how many production units is going to be around, or how they distribute to the other places. And second one, how easy to get in or get out from the market. Because you might need to think how it's easy to get involved to the market. If it's very easy, so the structures might not be quite rigid. But if you get in very hard, so you create very strong organization or very strong system. So you need to do a lot for get into the market like this way. So this is how easy to get in or get out from the market. And last one, the criteria that we need to concern is about the differentiation or how it's different in terms of the product. So both all factors here, this is the criteria for analyzing the structures. So please be careful. Then, in terms of the structures, we need to think about three things that I just talked: number of production unit, how it's easy to get in and get out, and the differentiation of the product. We use this criteria to classify the type of agricultural markets here. So there are two main types of agricultural product market. First one is perfectly competitive market, which is very ideal. Like I would say, this might not be happen, but they have some market that is very close. And second one, we have imperfectly competitive market. This means it's not 100% that they can fight and can compete, but it's just some part of it. So an imperfectly competitive market conclude with monopoly, like dominant, oligopoly, like we have 2 or 3 more monopolistic competitions. So we're gonna talk all of them later, like next week, next page. So the first one, perfectly competitive market. So in this case, this is the market that the type of market that you have many buyers and sellers. And because of you have many buyers and sellers, if something that is changed on the market's demand and supply, it's just have very low effects because you have the other person who gonna do the same thing. And homogeneous product. So normally the product for this type of market is seem to be very identical or the same. So I would say it's no different in both quality and quantity. And easy to stop and easy to start to do the business. Actually, it's no obstacle or you have no block for joining the business. So in this case, it is very good example for perfectly competitive markets. And also buyer and seller have perfect knowledge to monitor the change in the market. So buyer and seller for perfectly competitive market, they are very good or they are expert in this field. So if something that is changed on the market, they have some actions to do it, like to support or just to do some strategies. Like I mentioned before, the textbook claim perfectly competitive market is not happen. It's impossible to be happen. But they have some market that is very close, like cassava, paddy rice, or corn. So think about 3 agricultural products here. So first, they have many buyer and seller. Yes, that's correct. Their product is almost the same. Yeah, even they have some things different, but in general, they look the same. Easy to stop and easy to start is correct because you can just jump in and jump out if you don't want. So there is no laws or no regulation. And last one, buyer and seller have perfect knowledge. Yeah, because all 3 market here, they need to know very well. Like if the price change, if we have some situation, how you gonna how you gonna solve the problem like this way. So this is the first one, perfectly competitive market. Second one, no, actually the second main type, and the first sub unit of the imperfectly competitive market. So monopoly, mono is mean one. So monopoly is only one producer or seller on the market. So What does this mean? If you have only one seller or producer, that means you might have some right or some duty to do it. So in this case, sometimes you might have the legal monopoly policies. For example, if you are the business owner, then you might have to deal with, I'm gonna be the farm who gonna harvest and just have the raw material for, like in these pictures, for the cigarette. So you need to have a specific type. So you have that's right, and you do by yourself. You do only one for the whole market. So that okay, and then they also need to think about the product characteristic, which is going to be very special. So in this case, it's irreplaceable. So you cannot replace it. Like if you just focus on some product that have very specific characteristic. For example, it's like you have strawberry and your strawberry have very good taste, have a very big fruit, and also the color is so red. So if this variety you just have and then you create it and do it, but the other people cannot fight with you, cannot copy your idea, or cannot have the strawberry plant that you have. So this is also specific product characteristic. So normally for monopoly market, the person who are in this market, maybe seller or buyer, will do some action. Like they can set the price which normally be increased. Like they can set, because they are only one on the market, so they set the price is gonna be high. Or sometimes they can reduce the sales. Sorry, they can increase the sale, like make more demands by reduce the price. So if the consumer know that the price is down, they're gonna have buy something more. Then monopoly also use the economies of scale. So in this case, they're gonna use the mass production in order to reduce the total cost to save the money. And then sometimes not just legally monopoly. Sometimes some company can have the right to do by they have IP or intellectual properties. This is the law. No. This is the document that just explain that you can do by you can do only one people. No. I mean, you can do just only one people on the market because you have intellectual property to protect you, and the other people cannot have the same thing, or if they want to do, they should ask you and then pay for you, like this way. Then we can have oligopoly. So oligo is mean many. So in this case, it's going to be two or more producer and sellers. So the characteristic of oligopoly market is actually when it's change of the price, it might affect to the others. Like for example, if the grower just change the price, so it's linked to the other part. But normally, the price will affect directly for the middleman's level. The grower did not have that quite huge effects. The reason why we have a lot of effect on middlemen is because they are a group of people who do some strategies, who do some force to launch the product. And actually in Thailand, middle person have more power than the grower. So that is the reason why if it's changed on the price, at the grower level that might not be changed, but they're gonna change for the middle person level. Huge business for saving production costs. So in this case, oligopoly also need to have the mass production. like very huge one to reduce the cost. Some example is like meal rice, cassava, or vegetable oil. So meal rice is classified as oligopoly, but for the monopoly, oh no, for the perfect competitive market is actually paddy rice. Paddy rice means the rice with uh, the outer layer, like the husk. So it did not polish or just remove the outside yet. So that is reason why paddy rice look pretty the same. Okay. Next one, monopolistic competition. It seems like the name is very close to monopoly, but monopolistic competition have something different. So monopolistic competition is very close to peer competitions. It's like it's almost real, but the characteristic of monopolistic competition is that first, the product must have something different in terms of the quality or customer feeling. Like in some brand here, or in some type of agricultural products here, like jasmine rice. So jasmine rice is considered to be very good quality rice. So this is how jasmine rice differ from the other type of the rice. And also sometimes you can think about the brand is by itself, like the brand Hong Tong, like this one is considered to be very good texture and it's new crop, like it's just harvested. So they claim this is very good quality and the consumer perceive like that too. So this is how monopolistic competition happen. And also, but marketers just want to think something, which is they need to be concerned and be careful for the replacement when the price is changed, because even you can make something different or create some differentiation on your product, but if the competitors can have almost the same quality, but they try to reduce their price, so this is the problem. The problem on they might not happy to consume the higher price anymore, so they change their mind and consume the lower price. So in this case, you're gonna lose your market share. Okay, just wait for a moment. Okay, so let me check the email because during the recording time, I also have to wait for another meeting that they might just announce immediately. Sorry about that. So we just talked about the type of the agricultural market. Then the marketer need to understand the type of agricultural markets because they need to have a good strategy that is fit to the market structures. Especially when you need to have some advantage over the others. So think about there are 4 types of agricultural market here. We have perfectly competitive market. We have monopoly, oligopoly, and monopolistic. So different type have different characteristics, different aims. So you need to understand what is your product that is fit to some market. And if it's on that market, how you can make the differentiation, or how is your product is better than the others. But I would say the hardest thing for Thailand agricultural market system, which is we have very complicated market structures. Even it looks just normal, but we have many middle person, and they have more power to set the price. So they keep the price low at the farm and increase the price on the final stage of the purchase. Then sometimes I would say Thailand also have some politics as well. Sometimes they have some people on the program, on the board, on the set up the committee to force to be happen in some cases. Like they they go to the board, then they just trying to lobby the price to have higher than the others. So I think that's bad too. Products are forced to have very low price from the middle person. So again, because agricultural market don't might not need to consume by itself. They need to do some process. So every step that you do the process, like processing, changing the form, you need to have some middle person who take care in each step. Then what they're gonna do? They're gonna force to have the lower cost and have in order to have the highest profit. So in this case, it is the reason why we need to concern about Thailand situation too. Then we just finished analysis of the structures. Then let's talk about analysis of behaviors. So in terms of behaviors, you have two types of the agricultural market in terms of the behaviors. First one is actually the consumer market. So consumer markets we need to focus for the decision-making process in individually, like in each person. And what is the factor affecting to your buying behaviors? So mostly the consumer market is actually you focus for the consumer, just normal. Okay. But for organizational market, it's like the company or the business firm. So you need to understand the buying characteristic of the business, like how they gonna order. So what is the channel that they're gonna use? Do they do the transaction by this method? Like which method for transaction? Then what is the factor affecting the buying of behavior and decision making? Because organizational market might not be the same as consumer market, because organizational market is for the company. So you need to think to the other factors like the environment, the economies, or the situation of the world. So that is affects to organizational market. Then what is actually the objective for analysis the behaviors? So the first one, the objective for having analysis of behavior is that you need to know the real need of the agricultural product that is purchased. So in both consumers and also organizational. So what they really need. So they buy the agricultural product for some reason. So you need to understand that. Then strategic formulation. So you analyze the behavior in order to create some strategies. And also you need to respond to the consumer demands based on the behaviors. Because after you have the analysis, you know the behaviors, and then you know what is gonna be fit for their need. Then motivation consumers by providing product that they need. So you read the behavior, you know the behavior, and then you might know the motivation. Because it's like you analyze the data, then what part or what product that they need that and they don't need, then you focus on the things that they need. Adapt to change of the consumer behavior by keeping advantage leading positions on the market. So the last one is actually after you have analysis of the behaviors of agricultural products market, you will know what actually consumers, you will know what actually the consumer want, and then if you know the consumer want, you can keep the market share, you can keep the position that is good for you. Like you are the first uh, or the top brand or the highest market share on the market, And then you also keep doing the analysis of the behavior, and you found that, oh, this is good because our agricultural product is good in terms of the consumer perception. Then you keep doing good things. Then you can protect your market share and also trying to be better than you just have. Normally, when you want to do the analysis of the behavior, you're going to use 6W1H questions. First one is actually what are the product or what the service or what is the brand. Second one, who is your consumers? How you do the segmentation or how you target the consumers. Then where your product's going to be purchased, like you think about the place, you think about the distribution channels that gonna export or gonna distribute your product. And then you also need to think about when, in terms of time, seasons, and also life cycle. So one product might have different timing, different season, and also different stage of lifestyle of the product. Last one, oh no. Next one is about why, always the reason. So analysis of behavior can let you know what is your position and how you're gonna make some difference to the other competitors. Then who else or whom. So not just only what, who, where, when, why. You need to think who gonna be the influencer, family or friends. Like who gonna have some effects on you. So I would say for now, we might have these words a lot, influencer, because even agricultural product, you need to have a good actors or the person who's gonna express their idea and convince you to purchase the product. Like for me, if I ask the advertisement company to do the videos, I might think about the person who's gonna be influencer for agricultural products. So I might select the person who are eco-friendly, like they love to take care of the world, or just the actor or actress that who interested in the environment, because it can boost or it can increase my image of the products too. And last one, how. So how is the question that you need to understand in terms of the decision-making process. So what is the point that they concern? What is the motivation? What is the attitude when purchasing? And also we have some buying and decision process too. So in the next few slides, I can let you know the general process that normal consumer gonna think. Okay. Then, what is the factors affecting analysis of the consumer's market? So for now, we will focus more in terms of analysis of behaviors. So you need to know what is the factor that affects to the customer's market, the market for ourselves, not just for organization. First one, this is the need of the customer. So you should know what they really want. Don't think by yourself. Survey or just direct contact or direct information from the real consumers is required. So many product is die out from the market because they think just for themselves, don't think with the real consumers. Like for jasmine rice case, so I would say jasmine rice is very famous around the world. Then this agricultural product have very high demand, but most of the target consumer, they know what is actually be. Like the jasmine rice should have very good smell, soft texture, have a good shape like this one. Then it must be export from Thailand only. So if you know this concept or this information, you're gonna know who is actually the real consumer. So in this case, the real consumer for jasmine rice is gonna be the middle level or higher level consumers who like consuming jasmine rice. And as I know, actually, this target group is not just Thai people. So it is the consumer in the other country, like in European country or in Northern America. But for Thai people, jasmine rice that consumed in Thailand might not have very high quality because the highest quality we export mainly. Yeah. Then target market. Who are in the target market? So you can use some information to do targeting, like based on the geography, where they live, demography, so about the age, attitude, and motivation. For example, if you want to target consumers in Bangkok, in Chiang Rai, you might not think the same thing because in Bangkok, they might like some product more and their behaviors or their consumption might not be the same. I would say it's going to be very big difference. In Chiang Rai, you don't need to be rushed for working, so you can consume local food, you can have the raw materials. But in Bangkok, you need to have something from the other places, so the target market is different. Or even they might have in they may have the different in terms of geography as well and also demography. So people who work in Bangkok is not actually from the Bangkok itself. They're from the other province around country. And the attitude and motivation is also not be the same. Bangkok consumer, they might concern a lot for the safety for fruit and vegetable, for example. But for Chiang Rai, they might think the price is so expensive, so they don't think it's good to obtain like this way. So it's about the attitude and motivation. Then consumer behaviors. So you need to understand the behavior of the target market. What is the decision making on the target market? So what is the factor that they think the most, or what is the attitude behind that decision? And the last one, influencing factors on buying decision. So it's actually the other factors that might affect to buying decision. For example, you might think about sometimes one of the factors that you forget to concern is their experience. So some people who from the other province, they might have some experience in growing the plant or having a fruit or vegetable. So it's not like you was born in Bangkok. So in this case, experience might affect to the purchase of agricultural product. Because if you know something more or something well in agricultural products, you might have different criteria. You may have different expectation. It's not just like Bangkok person just buy the fruit and vegetable because they think it look good. But for the other province, they might not want to buy because it look too good, because they know what it's actually be like this way. Okay. Then consumer behavior model. So there are two main types. We have outside consumer model and inside consumer model. So for outside is mean outside of our body. So for outside, you have three sub models. First one is product models. So product models is actually the purchase decision is happen when the consumer concerned about the quality or characteristic of the products. Like in this case, they concerned about the sweet corn. So it should be look good, have sweet taste and safe. So this is the products model. And the second one is the information model. So in information model is actually the purchase might initiate from you have some information like here, vegetarian is good. You eat green, get lean, like this way. So okay, some people said, oh, we need to consume more veggie, then we're gonna have a good health. So this is information model. Last one, agribusiness model. This has been used a lot in Thailand right now in some big company, because they want to create something more, not just for the products. Like they distribute something to the society, and then they just send the message what they did good for the society or how they contribute something to the society. In this case, they create a good attitude to the products, to the business, and then the consumer initiate their purchase from the message that they send and they perceive. So think about some company, they trying to let you know that they are good because they just take care of the people on the countryside in the rural area. Then you feel good, then you want to buy their products. So this is agribusiness model. So the key point of agribusiness is they do some business on agriculture. Then they're trying to link with something that's gonna have a good perception with you. Then when you have good perception, good attitude, you're gonna buy the product. That is outside. How about inside? Inside is actually inside consumer. So inside consumer is actually the normal process of consumer decision making. If you ever known this concept, so I just want to brief that again. So inside consumer model start from problem recognition. Do you have any problem about the products or not? For example, if you want to have something that's good for your health, so you might think, okay, I need to have organic products. And then you use some information search, you search online or just ask some people or read some articles about organic products. Evaluation alternatives. So you compare the choice. What is the first shop is good? What is the second shop is better than the first shop, like this one? You compare it. Then you make the purchase decision and evaluate after you purchase. So this is all 5 steps that link together for inside consumer model. And then the third main topic is actually the measurement and forecast of the market demands and of agricultural products. So I will let you know the definition and importance of the measures and also the forecasting, like measurement and also the forecast, and how you measure the market demands and also how you forecast the market demands. Okay. Then, what is the definition of the measurement of market demand? So, measurement of market demand is actually you measure the product's number that is expected by a set of consumer in specific area at some specific time under control environment and marketing problem. So in other terms, it's actually like you evaluate, you measure. I would change this word. You just see how many of the products that gonna be sold in some specific area, specific time. Like for me, I might expect organic fruit in Chiang Rai. So I might think, okay, how I gonna evaluate them? So I might set, I gonna evaluate them this year, like 2011. My target group is the person who love to have the health, like health conscious people and concerned about health consumption. Age around 30 to 55, like this way. Then I can see how often they buy my product, what is the number of the product that they brought, and also what is the factors that link to the purchase. So this is how I measure the market demands. Okay, so why this is important? Because we use this information to estimate the overall consumer needs. If I know the result from previous year, I can use for this year and next year, like this way. Link to the production planning, packaging, finance, and distribution. If organic product is popular, so you can see the trend. Like for last year, last 2 year, and this year, then you can link to the production planning. You might send the message to the farmer, okay, please increase the organic production because the price is good. Or you need to change the packaging or have some more budget. And also you need to think about the distribution. If organic product from Chiang Rai is very popular, and then it's just you can spread to the other province that close to Chiang Rai, like this way. And then we can have the market forecast. So market forecast is actually you predict or you just guess what will happen for the specific time. So in this case, market forecast is actually the prediction of the market needs from previous and current information. So they use this one in order to think what will happen in the future. It also has something important because it's used to estimate the overall market needs. It's like the measurement of the market's demands too, because you need to think about what will happen in the future. But for market forecast, you need to do something more in terms of strategic planning. You need to plan some strategies. You need to have the marketing plan for having like reaching the point that you need. Then it's also important to have the market forecast because it's linked to the production planning and then marketing mix that you need to apply finance, like financial status, human resource management, and also location. So it's all important for the marketing forecast. Then the measurement of the marketing demand. So let's talk about how you're going to measure the market demands. So they have 3 dimensions that you need to consider for measures the market demand. First one, we have space dimension. So space dimension is considered about the location. So you need to specify what part that you need to set, like you need to think about market demand in the same province, in northern region, in Thailand, or in the world, like this way. Product dimension, so you might think about the product in terms of overall need on the market, or just industrial use, or just your company use. Of course, it's different in terms of amount and demand. Then term, medium term, and long term, because different time length might affects to different market demands. Okay, and then measurement of the methods of the market demands again. So we have some methods to use for having the market demand. First one, market demands measurement. So in this case, you can do market demand measurement directly based on the demand in specific region. Like you set by yourself, you're gonna do, you're gonna have the market demand in northern part of Thailand for healthy food, like this way. And then you might need to set the season under control environment because you need to observe the demand in each year or in each season. I would say normally in marketing terms, especially for agricultural products, when you want to study, when you want to measure, you're gonna measure year by year. So this might be like, for example, Pulai pineapple. What is the market demand on summer season, rainy season, and summer season for this year? And what will happen for next year? Then you can use that for prediction. Okay, then company demands measurement. So company demand measurement is the measurement in terms of the ratio between the needs of the company, your company, and the overall market. So you need to see the ratio between that you need and the overall of the market. Third one, company sales forecast. So sales forecast is like you just predict what will happen. So you forecast with the time set and use for the future planning. Like you might set, okay, we're gonna have the information of the company sales, like how many items that you can sell on the market. Then you collect it with the time frame, maybe for last year, this year, and then just use for future planning. So it's like first one, you focus for the specific region with the time frame. Second one, you focus for the ratio between what you need and what the overall need. And the last one, you just focus for the sales record and use for prediction. And then let's talk about the factors that related measurement of the market's demand. So not just the measurement methods that you just understand. You also need to think about the factors that might affect to the market demands, because if you did not concern this way, so you might have some distraction or just some error, some misunderstanding. The first one is the type of agricultural products. Make sure that you specify your product clearly. Like, is this in season or off season type? Is this used for industrial or the consumption only? Like industrial is mean you used to produce to the other products or just consumed by itself. Your product is used for import or export. And second one is, who is your target consumers? Do you have overall market, like in general market, or it's very specific market, like niche market? I would say it is good if you can classify a specific market, because you can take some strategies or send some message directly, and the results should be better than just have overall market. Then measuring the location. So make sure that you understand the pattern of the consumption in different area, like different province in Thailand, for example. Do they have the same pattern or not? The same demands or not? In regional, I would say, for example, for regional effects, the regions, northern part of Thailand and northeastern part of Thailand, they might have high demand for sticky rice than the other location. So the demands of the sticky rice is a lot like this way. Or you want to see the whole country demands is also okay too. Measuring times. So you want to set the time frame, like you will focus every year, or what is the end point? Not just every year, maybe every 2 years or just 5 years. Or you want to study the seasonal change or not? Because some products they produce all year, and seasonal things might be concerned because different season might have different tastes. It's like polar pineapples again. I mentioned this on the chapter 2 activities. Actually, polar pineapple is the seasonal fruit, but they can produce and force them to have all year round. But different season might have different demand. So I would say the demand for summer season going to be higher than the other season, and rainy season is going to be lower than the other season because the taste is trend to be sour because they have lots of water and the taste might not be quite strong, like quite bland. It's sometimes it tastes not sweet and sour. It's not good balance between sweet and sour like that. Marketing environment. So you also need to consider about marketing environment in terms of harvest time, because market demands might affect to the harvest time. the beginning of the season, high season, and also at the end of season might have different market demand. Like for durian, durian will be very expensive at the beginning and at the end of the season, but for the middle of the harvest time is gonna be quite low than the beginning and at the end. Economic condition. Do you have any problem on economics or not? Like for this time with COVID-19, the market demand will be reduced in some specific products, and it can have some result like higher in some specific products too. Like for some herbs, some specific herbs that is used for prevent COVID-19 is going to have high demand like that. And also your competitors. So your competitor is challenging things because competitor, they trying to have more market share. So you need to measure your market demands maybe every 6 months, or I would say some company measure the market demands by showing the market share every 3 months, like 4 times per year, in order to see when your market share is reduced. And then if your market share is reduced, they're trying to do something like have some strategies or have some action to increase the market share. So that's all factors that affects to the market demands. Then let's talk about methods for forecast the market demands. So we just have the measurement things, then we have the forecasting. So what we need to use for forecasting the market demands. The first one is that the time forecast procedures, or the plan that you need to use for forecasting. If it's about long term, which means it have more than 3 years. So if you want to forecast something more than 3 years, normally it's used for the company vision, mission, objective, and strategies. It's like long-term process. So long-term market demand, you need to have, because of you need to create your goals, your direction. How about intermediate terms? So it's around 1 to 3 years. So it's kind of urgent action, and you need to apply the current strategic plan for having a good market demand. And for the short term, it's going to be like less than 1 year. So market action plan is used for completing the current situation. So mostly it's going to be very urgent action plan. Like for the COVID-19, this is a short term. So if you would like to forecast the market demands, you might think, okay, with this situation, what we can predict. So it's like if I were the food company, I might think, okay, for the short term, I might prepare for very fast production products that can increase the immune system. For the long term, I might set during 1 to 3 years, I might plant some fruit or vegetable that gonna serve for the short term. And for the long term, I think COVID-19 will last longer, like the flu. So I might set the new policy, which is my company need to focus for producing the food that is used for prevent any diseases, like having the choice for protection for the health, like this way. So see, you can forecast the market demands in different time sets, and different sets have different actions. How about the methods for forecasting market demand in terms of positions? So we can do position forecast 2 ways. First one is macro forecast. So macro is being big. So you can forecast in terms of overall country. and overall market. Normally, we did not do by ourselves, but the government gonna be the person who in charge in this type because they need to have higher competitiveness. So if you do macro forecast for Thailand or for Thai market, then you can have some information and then you can predict what will happen for the next year. Like for example, if Thailand want to know about the rice demand, they will do some forecast and use some information 5 years ago and see the trend. Like as I know, we are the second world leading rice exporter. We follow with Vietnam. Vietnam ever been the second and the third place, but Vietnam use some strategies by they reduce the price. So I would say Thai rice industry might do something because we will lose their market demand in the future if the situation still be like this. So this is how we can use the macro forecast. How about micro forecast? Micro forecast is different, especially when you want to do just for your own business. So you do forecast by yourself and use some strategic formulations and use this for the marketing action plan creation. So you just have some information for your company and just create both strategies and also the action plan like this way. Then the third one, forecast process. So forecast process you can do in terms of quantitative forecast and qualitative forecast. Again, quantitative forecast is about the number. So you do forecast about the number, which means you need to have some mathematics. So in this case, we have the mathematics model. Then you just try to do calculation under the constant condition. Like you set the model to have the stable economics, stable societal issues, and also technological. Yeah, so you might set the criteria like that. So normally quantitative we have two types. We have time series technique, which is including moving average and exponential smoothing. So the first one, moving average, is like let me check. Because actually, I don't want to go for quite deep for the details. It's too much. But I'm trying to um, explain in brief. Just for a second. Okay. So for moving average, it's going to be used for agricultural product that is not changed very fast. So it's used when you just average everything like within the year, within length of the time, then forecast it. But for exponential, it's used for some agricultural product that have very high or very change on the demands. Like for example, the protein, plant-based protein. So protein from plant is very dramatically increased. So in this case, you need to use some technique in terms of exponential smoothing for dealing with this change. But if you're dealing with normal fruit and vegetable, you might use moving average. And this is time series technique. And also we can have the casual models. Normally, I think you know this one, the regressions model. Regressions model have X and Y. Like the result might be from the effects from one factors, two factors, three factors, and then you're gonna see the regression model and predict with R square, like coefficient correlation, like this way. So just know that forecasting process that they have quantitative forecast and also qualitative forecast. So quantitative is about the number, but qualitative is about the data is not the number. Just for a moment, I need to, okay. So for qualitative, I would say I would like to compare like this term. Quantitative is about the number. Qualitative is not the number. It's like the idea, it's like the words, it's like the opinion, like this way. So why we need to concern about qualitative? Because this also need to consider. Because sometimes personal ideas, consumer ideas, the experience, and also some consideration from the consumers or even from the CEO can be used for market demands too. Because personal idea, some consumer just voice to your company, then you collect it. Or they have some experience that they think is good for you to create the product, the new product is also okay too. So normally qualitative is used by combining with the quantitative. It's going to be used when you have inconstant condition or changing the factors, like you have a huge change for the market's demand. So qualitative will use for this case because if something changed a lot, the number might not be quite being trust. Like you cannot trust the number more. So that is the reason why you sometimes you need to combine it all together. Then the qualitative mostly used for the long term. So for the short term, you might use some quantitative, but qualitative you can use for long-term prediction. But please make sure that when you use qualitative, please think about the logic and the reason mainly, because it doesn't have the number. So you need to think, this is reasonable or this is make sense or not too. For example, what or where are the source that you can have. So you can have sales force estimation. So you can have this prediction of the sales from like I would say it's like sales representative, like the salesperson in different regions. Like you have the company in Bangkok, and then you have sales representative in Chiang Mai, in Khon Kaen, in Songkhla, for example, for all regions. Then you collect the sales force, collect some information. Then you just make the conclusion to have the market forecast. So in this case, you can have the data from sales representative. And sometimes you also have some information from qualitative information from executive, like the person who are the top level. So they have some experience, they can share and they can give the idea. Or they have some committee that is set of the committee to think about the market demands that you can forecast. And then you might ask the expert too. So if they are very famous on that area, you can ask for the forecast of market demands too. Or you can think about the product life cycle. You have initial state, maturity state, decline state, like this way, and then see what part that you are in. Market research, sometimes you can do market research for forecast the market demand. Or sometimes if you already have the product, you can just present your product to the real market. We call the market test. The market test is good because when you launch the product, then the consumer might see exactly what it is. And then you can ask them, so do you plan to buy or do you accept the products or not, like this way. But the bad things for market test is when you present the products, like launch the product to the market, it means the competitor will know what it is. Okay. Next one, we also have the factors for selecting the forecast method. So it's just have the question, what is the choice or what is the factor that you need to think to select the methods for forecasting? First one, you need to know the overall or specific forecast. Overall forecast, you might use some technique. You might need to think the other things like in overall, but specific forecast, you might narrow it down to be some specific area. So it's linked to actually the objective of your target, like your company. If you want to launch the product just in Thailand, it's a specific forecast. But if you want to launch to internationally, so it's like you need to increase the size, and it's actually the overall forecasting. Then think about the type of information. Sometimes I would say if you trust with the number, sometimes the number cannot let you know in the depth, like in the details. So I would say if it should be good if you can combine both qualitative and quantitative data. Like for my study, I study about the rice consumption in US with 3 annexity. I did all of them, and I found that if I did not do qualitative at first, I may not know what they think. For example, for Thai or Asian people, the perception on brown rice, at that time they call red rice, is quite bad because they think the brown rice or the rice that is not polished yet is good for is the choice for prisoners, the person in the jail. But for now, it's okay like this way. And then think about the systematic with precision and accuracy. So the choice that you use is depends on the statistical analysis and also the accuracy of the result. If you want to make a very high prediction, you might need to have high quality for statistic methods. Like you don't need to just present average, maximum or minimum. You might need to run ANOVA, like runs with some significant difference. Or duration time, cost saving, and easy to interpret or not. So think about the time that you're gonna take and the cost of the money, and also is it easy to interpret or not? Because sometimes you collect a lot of information, but too much information might not be good. Of course, too much information if you don't analyze it is clear, it will affect you to make the decision. The last one is about environment analysis of agricultural products marketing. So in this case, we're going to talk about outer environment and inner environment, like outside and inside environment. For outside, like outer environment first. So let's talk about general situation. So outer factor is the factor that we can't control, which we might call is like uncontrollable. So it's actually the good opportunities and also the threats. So if you remember SWOT analysis, it's actually O and T. Again, opportunity is the planning to respond to take advantage. So it's a good chance for you to do or not to do something. But the threat is the bad things that you confront and you need to solve it fast. And if it's good, you can change it to the opportunity. Like for example, for the opportunity, if I think it's fast, like this time, I'm gonna think about fruit and vegetable that gonna be used for protect COVID-19. This is our opportunity, but the threat is urgently solved. Like they did not have the research to confirm it yet, and it might be dangerous. So you need to change is to the threat to opportunity by you might sponsor or give some funding to some university to study about the plant or the fruit and vegetable that is good for protect or to prevent COVID-19. So this one is just example. So that is ONT. So let's think about a little bit more in terms of general situation. Think about economic situation. So you need to analyze outer environment in terms of economics rate, growth rate, like how fast of your economies is going up or going down? Or how about the price index, like the price last year, price of the products this year? So what is the different change like this way? Or what about the international trade and exchange? You have some profit or some loss from export or import, and also the total cost and the revenue, the money that you have in terms of the government have enough money or not too. So this is the outer environment, and also national financial status. We are we in the debt for uh, the other bank, like the World Bank, that we ever been or not, like this way. National financial status. Then we also need to think about societal situation. Like many of you might not think this is effects, but actually it's affects the change of the population structures. Like for now, the elderly people, the person who are old enough, the percentage of elderly people is increased a lot. The worker is reduced, and the baby or the young people is also very low too. With this one, is might affect directly to our market demand and also the business. So you need to think about the population trend, consumer behavior trend. Like for now, fast food, ready to eat food, convenient food is also considered. And the trend that I think is going to be popular at least 5 years from now is going to be plant-based food and the things that you consume with safety, like this way. Last one is political situation. So for political situation, you need to think about the regulations or the laws in terms of the world, like whole world, regional, like in Asian, in European, or in the country, or domestic. So for example, in agricultural business agreement, we have some set or some regulation, which is we have the policy in terms of tax, or we call tariff. So when you want to export, we have zero tax, but when you need to import some product, you need to pay the tax, like this one. Or sometimes you need to think about anti-dumping. Like in China, they have low cost for fruit and vegetable when they just export to us. So we need to do some action, like you cannot set the price low like you said. So we just give some feedback or respond to the price. Supporting policies. So if we have a problem, how government will support the problem. So this is the political situation. Sometimes we also have the situation in terms of World Trade Organization or the WTO. So they're gonna create or just trying to set the policies too. Then we have free trade area that is no tax. You can just exchange any products that you like. But what I found, free trade area is good and bad for us. Good if our product have lower price, but it's bad when you have many competitors and they fight with the price. So free trade area, they might think between the quality and the price. So free trade area is, I think, is good when some product have lower cost, like quite low cost. But if our product have expensive price, free trade area might not be good. National laws and policies, like think about the laws that our country have and the policy, like for us, for Thailand, we have the policy to be the kitchen of the world. So we produce the food products. We produce many agricultural products to serve the world. So this is the analysis of the environment factors, and also domestic law and policy too. So some countries or some province might have some specific laws that you need to follow. And we also have the technological situation. So technological situation have the roles which is used for making consumer satisfaction, and we also need to have the profits from technology. So think about this way. You think about using some technology to make consumer happy, and you also have the profit. So in this case, technology affect us a lot in terms of the consumer behaviors. For example, you can use microwave to reheat. You can consume something fast because you have new process. Then you can search the data from the internet, not like in the past that you don't know anything. And you can monitor everything by real time. So this is how technological situation also need to be considered. So that is general situation. How about market situation? Marketing situation is actually uncontrollable, again, for outer environmental factors, but you have to have the comprehensive analysis. So in terms of marketing situation, you must think about characteristic of the consumer. So you need to think about the type of the behavior of the consumer in terms of direct consumption or industrial use, or how about the seller? So how they distribute, how they keep the products, how they give the advertisement, and how about the location of agricultural products? And who are the competitors? Who are the producer, like between producer and wholesaler? So do they have different production rate and enough supply or not? So this is how marketing situation would be considered. So that is outer environmental factors. How about inner environmental factors? So for inner environmental factors, it's actually the controllable. So again, it's like SWOT analysis. Then you focus for strength and weakness. So the things that you can control. Strength is the good things that you have. Weakness is the point that you need to be improved. So in this case, strength and weakness is used for first, overall marketing objective of organization. So you need to analyze your company. What is the overall and marketing objective? So what is the key point for your organization? And for marketing objective, like what is the point you need to go for just marketing things? So in this case, you need to know and understand your direction, strategies, and the policy in long term and short term. And also the resource of organization. Because normally the company have very limited of the budget, but your point is you need to create the highest profit with high efficiency. So the company need to show your strength and trying to renew the weakness in the business of the business. And you also need to apply and think about the marketing mix that you need to use, like strategic formulations, like how to produce or how to create a strategic planning, marketing activity that you need to use for your products, and also the marketing tools that you need to apply. And also last one, you need to think about product and business life cycle, because different time might need to have different action. For example, for our products life cycle, if you are in the beginning of the developing stage, so you didn't have the profit yet, so at that time you just launch the product. You might do some activity like promotion, just send a message trying to be in the market. Then if you are developing period, so you might play with the other strategies. Okay, this is a strength and weakness. And also the quality control, I would say if you have good quality control on your business, you have the potential to have a new technologies, like you can apply more technology, you have better system, you have better process, and you have a good human resource. I would say this is the strength in some company, because they can apply the new technology immediately, and then they can produce the product fast with good system to communicate or to distribute the product. They have a good process to produce the food, to produce the fruit and vegetable. And most important things, they have ecosystem for human resource management. I mean, human or people is the value resource. You need to to make them better, like develop them, not just use them as the machine. Last one, you need to think about the working style of your business. So think about your company. Do you work as a team, or do you have very good relationship with the executive and the workers or not? Do you have the unity, or do you have any conflict or this any bad things, or how you solve the problem when it's happened on your business? So not think just this one is quite far. So if your company, if you analyze it carefully, these all factors that will make your business getting better. Okay, so I think it's all for today class. So this chapter is quite heavy. I know, because I prepare and I try to make it easy, but it's not quite easy too. So please um, let me know if any part that you need more explanations. And I hope you get some point, because it actually this lecture is about the analysis thing. It's not just the concept, but I try to explain some details that it should be good example, but some part might not be good enough. But however, let me know. Yeah, thanks again for watching this video, and see you on Friday. Thank you so much.